drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
I'm Paul Bennett at Downeast Thunder Farm here in Millbridge, Maine. We're located along Maine's Bold Coast, not very far from the U.S.-Canadian border. This week, I'm making my own anchor, not just an anchor, but a Rocna or Mantis clone, which is the newer style wedge type anchors. And if you've priced them lately, the size that I would probably choose for my new 18-foot sailboat is probably retails with shipping somewhere in the vicinity of around $600 or so. So I decided I'm going to clone one and come very close to what they make, only using mild steel. I've got this 42-inch piece of 3/8 inch flat bar. For my metric friends, that's about 9 millimeters thick, and it's about a little over 50 millimeters wide, and it's a little over 3 meters long, maybe 3.5. No, not 3.5. Just a little over 3 meters long. This plate I bought is 18 inches square by 3/8 of an inch, or 9 millimeters thick, and it's really got some weight to it. Again, this is mild steel, and for my metric friends, that's I think it's somewhere around 455 millimeters or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to use this. If you've looked at the Rocna or Mantis wedge style anchors, they basically have a triangle, a wedge, and then they have a couple of ears that come up a little bit of an angle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this plate like this. I'm going to take these cut off pieces, turn them around, reverse them, and put them at a little bit of an angle. And then for the stem of the anchor coming up, I'm going to fabricate that from this flat bar. And it makes a pretty heavy anchor, and it'll be more than enough for a small 18-foot sailboat. In fact, it'll probably could be used as a storm anchor. So this week, what I have to do first is I have to remove the mill scale. So I'm just gonna, I have one of these abrasive flapper discs, and I'm gonna remove the mill scale first because this is all open flat surface. It's a lot easier to do it now than trying to do it afterwards, after cutting the pieces and welding them up. Then you have all these little nooks and crannies and corners to get into. So I'm just going to remove the mill scale right now on both sides and around the edges on both pieces, and then I'll go ahead and cut them and get started fabricating the anchor. Well, this is taking a whole lot longer than I thought it would. I've got about halfway through the first side of this plate, and I'm going to have to go the other side pretty soon. That took me maybe 15-20 minutes just for that. And I started out with that flapper disc, and it generally works pretty good on a lot of metal surfaces. And this particular flapper disc is designed for working on metal, but it's painfully slow. It just goes way too slow. I mean, it does a nice job, but it doesn't really remove much metal, but it'll take the mill scale off. But it was too slow for me, and I wanted to go faster, so I grabbed a grinder with a regular grinding disc. The grinding disc doesn't wear out as fast as the flapper disc. It'll last longer, and it's just so much faster in taking off that mill scale. And it doesn't have as nice a finish, but it goes quickly, and let's face it, this doesn't have to have a beautiful finish on it. And the only reason I'm removing this mill scale is because once I get this anchor finished and it's all welded up, I want to give it a good coat, a couple of coats of a zinc chromate primer, and let that cure, and then I'll put on a few top coats of an alkyd based paint, and which is what we use on large commercial ocean going ships. I've been doing that for years, and those are mostly mild steel, and that's what they're coated with. and it doesn't last forever. That's why you see people chipping and painting. But this steel, all total, it cost me about $45. If I could find a used Mantis or Rocna of the size I want and style, it would still cost me somewhere around $300 or more plus shipping. And there used to be a place here in New England that did hot dip galvanizing. I would have sent this off to have it hot dipped galvanized. However, that place had closed down several years ago because of EPA regulations on emissions into the air. I used to have this place, it was down in Connecticut, and they used to do all that work for me when I'd fabricate engine beds and mounts when I had my wooden boat shop. But that's not the case anymore, so that's why I'm going with zinc chromate primer and the alkyd top coated with paint. And as long as I keep an eye on it, it should be good. And I've designed this boat for doing the northeast circle route, Downeast circle route around the northern part, northeastern U.S. and Canada. And this anchor is going to work just fine for that. I just wanted to bring up a point, and that is, although I'm fabricating this myself, I'm well aware of the risk involved and the chances I'm taking in fabricating my own anchor. Throughout my years as a marine engineer and naval architect, and doing many years of fabrication and working in the ship repair business, I have a good idea of how this has to proceed and what I'm doing. I have a good idea how all this is going to work. However, I can't recommend it to you, and I don't, as a matter of fact, don't recommend that you do this yourself. I'm just showing you what I do and the risk involved in having this not hold or break or whatever. I understand those risks. I'm doing this myself. Nobody else is responsible but me for my boat, my anchor, and I'm willing to accept those risks. So please don't take it upon yourself to do this sort of thing if you don't have that kind of experience and or the capability, and you don't understand what's going on. I hope you don't do that. This is really for entertainment, to show you what I'm doing, and it's saving me a lot of money. But if you take this project on yourself and things don't go right, and well, you know, you could lose your boat. You could do damage to somebody else's boat. I'm very confident that this is going to work well for me, but as I said, I don't know you. I don't know what your background is, so I can't recommend that you do this. So, as I said, beware. I got both sides of this flat bar down, and both sides are cleaned up nice. I've got this whole side of that plate done, and I just have the other side to do. And I think I'm going to knock off for the afternoon, and I'm going to do this tomorrow. It's the next day, and I finished grinding down the mill scale off the other side of the plate. That was something I filmed yesterday, and I just had to do the other side, and it was just more of the same, so I didn't bother to film it. I've decided that after hearing from some viewers that I think I'll break this down into a little mini-series. It may be 3 parts, give or take. Maybe 4, I don't know, maybe 2, we'll see. So this week I've removed mill scale. Next week I'll start cutting all the components. I'll probably have that all done within that one video. You'll see all the pieces cut in the appropriate shapes and sizes. And what I'll do is I'll see if I can put together a sketch with dimensions so you can see what I'm doing as far as the size of the anchor goes, and I'll probably post that on my Patreon page so patrons can go ahead and download that for free whenever they want. Please remember to subscribe, like, hit that little bell, right beside the subscribe button and share my videos. I really appreciate it. Check out my Patreon page. You may want to join, and if you do subscribe to Patreon in my channel, you'll find that there are all kinds of free plans and tips and tricks and all kinds of stuff that doesn't appear on my website or on YouTube. And you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. So thank you very much for watching.